Hey everybody, my name is Jen the Caffeinated Crafter, and this is going to be my end of February recap. Today is March the 1st. I just got done filming Floss Tube, so you'll see that. Same day, same shirt, I don't even care. Some people change their shirts between videos, I ain't going to. Okay, so what did I work on in the month of February? I worked on 32 different projects. I stitched all 28 days. Of those 32 projects, one of them was a new start. I did not have any finishes in the month of February. Hopefully we'll have one in March. I did a total of 18,486 stitches. So that definitely was a lot less than January. Not even just because the month is 2 days shorter. I just try to open my door a little bit so it's not so echoey. I noticed my floss tube is a little kind of echoey. There were some days where I just didn't get a whole lot of stitching done. It looks like my highest stitching day for the month was probably February the 2nd. I did 2,010 stitches on that day. And looks like my lowest day was last night. Looks like my lowest day was last night at 300 stitches. But let's go over what all I worked on. So you're going to see a beginning of the month and end of beginning of the month photo. If it's in Pattern Keeper, I'll let you know what the starting percentage was. We are going to go in order from least amount of progress to most amount of progress. So some of these you will have just seen if you watch my floss tube that I just posted. I'm probably going to post this on Sunday. I'm filming on Saturday, but I'm probably going to post this on Sunday because I'm uploading my floss tube right now. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to go least amount of progress to most amount of progress. So the ones we're starting off with right now are the ones that got like between 100 and 200 stitches. So first up is from Maya Stitch. This is one of my Monopoly pieces. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And for the month of February, I got 100 stitches on it. I'm doing it with the Call for DMC on some kind of 14 count like light brown fabric, and this got 100 stitches in the hat. Okay. Next up is going to be Hot Cocoa Gnome. This is a high temperature piece. I can't get the bag open. I might need to switch this bag out. I'm having issues with the zipper on this one. Okay. Hot Cocoa Gnome. This is one of my temperature pieces. Oh, this is in Pattern Keeper. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And that's without the back stitching. This is from cutebrodery.com. And I'm doing it, I did do a couple color changes because I felt like a couple of the reds, bless you. I felt like a couple of the reds were a little too orangey, so I changed two of the reds. And I started the month off at 2,076 stitches done. And I was at 36.89%. I did 100 stitches on it this month, or in the month of February. Sorry, I'm looking for something real quick. Yeah. And I'm currently sitting at 2,176 stitches completed out of 5,627. I am at 38.67% done. All right. No. No. She's trying to climb all over my piles here. Gracie, no. Stop it. Hang on. Here's the troublemaker. Gracie Lou. She's mad because I told her she couldn't climb wherever she wanted. Boo. Get down. Okay. Let me put this over here because let me do this. I'm gonna put this down here. I'm gonna put that over there. Okay. I'm trying to keep them, keep things a little bit separated because some of these projects I'm supposed to work on this week, and so I want to keep them in a separate pile. Okay. Next up is going to be one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Lighthouse Merriment by Charting Creations. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Artwork is by Nikki Bohm. Oh my God, where is it? Here it is. It is 425 by 352, and it has 99 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana with a call for DMC. That is where I'm at with it now. I started the month off at 2,350 stitches. I was at 1.57%. I added 100 stitches to it, so I'm now at 2,450 stitches completed. Out of 149,600, I am at 1.64%. So there is that. And then next up is another temperature piece, and this is Spa Gnome. I want to say this is one of the high pieces, like the high temperatures. I have highs and lows. Okay. This one is also in Pattern Keeper. This is by cutebrodery.com, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing it with the call for DMC on a 14 count Charles Craft Aida Morning Dawn, I think is the name of it. My notebook that I have the names of these colors written down is over there. I think it's Morning Dawn. But this is where I'm at with it. I started off the month at 2,644 stitches done. I was at 48.26%. I did actually 105 stitches on this, and I am now sitting at 2,749 stitches completed out of 5,479. I am at 50.17%. Okay, next up is in my new start rotation. So anything that I start this year, I want to put 3,000 stitches on. This is a kit from Artis. This is called Sugar Skull. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And hang on, I'm looking for it on my list here. There it is. Okay. For the month of February, I did 107 stitches. And I'm just using whatever came in the kit. I did a center start. That's where I'm at with it. That needs to go over there. Excuse me. Okay, next up is going to be Cherry Blossom. Okay, so we are out of the 100 stitches already. I think before I had done one and I had like a huge, I did a month-end recap and I had this huge stack of projects that had like 100 stitches on it. We're already out of the 100, so that's exciting. That I'm actually able to put more stitches on projects over the course of a month. So now we're getting into the ones that got 200 stitches on them. This one is Cherry Blossom. This is by Blue Fox Stitchery on Etsy. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using the called for DMC 2/1 half cross on a 28 count linen, like, I don't know, white, ivory, whatever, linen that I had in my stash. I did an upper right hand corner start, so let me hold this the correct way. There's where I'm at with it now. I started the month off at 3,111 stitches done, and I was at 3.73%. I put in 200 stitches on this, so I am now sitting at 3,311 stitches done. Out of 83,325, I am at 3.97%. So there we go. All right. Do I need to work on this week? No. Okay. Next up is in my full coverage focus to get to 1% rotation. This is Coming to Room by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by John Patrick Kresny. Where is it? Coming to Room, Coming to Room. Here it is. I got the max color version. It's 875 by 626 and it has 239 colors. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. God, that looks so cool. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on this fabric I picked up off of AliExpress a few years ago. I don't know if it's like 30 count, 28 count, 32 count. But that's where I'm at with it now. I started the month off at 1,017 stitches completed. I was at 0.19%, and I put in 200 stitches, and I am now sitting at 1,217 stitches. Out of 547,750, I am at 0.22%. So there's that. Okay, next up is going to be my Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure from Cunning Cross Stitch. This pattern is no longer available. I have a mock-up of the parchment outlines, but each section is going to be different based on whatever the person chooses. So I don't have a mock-up of the final piece. This one I am working on for my younger son, and I have been, let me see, I did I was making sure it's not like an even 200 or like 200 and change. Nope. Okay. So I want to say that I'll show the whole thing just in case, because I feel like I might have been working on the parchment outlines for one of these days. I don't remember, but this is where I'm at with it now. And I did 200 stitches, and I want to say, I feel like it was all in this area right here. So I'm working on his house flag, which is Slytherin. So that got 200 stitches this month. Last month, whatever, February. And I think this is one of my projects for this week. Okay, next up is going to be I Love You to Death. This is by Stitchman Darcy on Etsy. He also has a FlossTube channel if you want to go check him out. This is 255 by 155. It has like 8 colors in it. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using the Called For floss, the Called For DMC, stitching it 2/2 full cross on some kind of 28 count grayish linen. I had bought it for something else and I didn't like it, how it was looking for that project, so I didn't use it. But then I had this one and I was like, oh, this will work out. So I'll just show you the whole thing because I don't remember. I know where I work, so I just showed this in my FlossTube. Never mind. I'm getting January and February mixed up. So I'm going to show you where I worked and I'll show you the whole thing. That's where I worked at. And this is the whole thing. Okay. I started the month off at 3,128 stitches. I was at 33.27%. And then I put in 200 stitches on it, and so I'm now sitting at 3,328 stitches done out of 9,401. I am at 35.40%. And this is one of my low temperature pieces. I think I failed to mention that. The Harry Potter Choose Your Own Adventure or Stitch Your Own Adventure, that is a temperature piece as well. That was for a high. This one was a low. Okay, next up is going to be another temperature piece. This is a low temperature that you guys voted on. This is Merry Christmas by Artiste. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. I have been focusing on getting the tea and Christmas completed. And that is where I'm at with it right now. I have done 200 stitches on it in the month of February. So the next time this gets pulled out, I plan on finishing off the snowman's face and hat and then moving over to the M in Christmas. Okay. All right, next up is, which one's this one? Winter in the Village. This is by Stony Creek Collection. And this is a temperature piece, one of the lows. I got threads hanging off of it, so bear with me here. Okay, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And in the month of February, I'm using the Call For, it's DMC, and then the specialty thread is a Karen Water Lilies in the color Polar Ice. Really pretty blue. And then it also calls for a little bit of a silver petite treasure braid. That literally just goes in like a couple spots. It's not a whole lot at all. Okay, so I'm doing this 2/2 full cross on a 28 count even weave in the colors Summer Sky. and I put in 200 stitches over here. I am at, I want to say that this might be the very edge of the pattern. And so I decided when I pulled this out that I wanted to work on this, like getting this border worked on, but also getting to the very end and then starting to work all that back stitching and filling in and working my way back over. So that's where that is. 200 stitches on that. Okay, next up is one of my New Start rotations. This is Cake Shop, a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. Artwork is by Steve Crisp. And it is 600 by 450. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I did an upper left-hand corner start, so I am up in this area right now. I am doing it 1/1 full cross on a that China fabric that I got on AliExpress. I have my fabric all folded up. It's gonna fit, no worries. So don't freak out when you see like how small this is. But I started the month off at 528 stitches completed, and I was at 0.20%. I did 204 stitches on it in the month of February. I am now sitting at 732 stitches done out of 270,000. I am at 0.27% now. So there's that. Okay, next up is my new start for the month. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection, Wintertime Fairy by Meredith Dillman. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I started this with Alara. Cherry Blossom, I had also started with Alara. And I'm using everything that came in the kit. I want to say this is an 18 count white Aida. Crap, hold on. I'm looking at my working copy. Okay, there we go. To see which way is up for how I highlighted it. Okay. So Wintertime Fairy, I did 203 stitches on her to get her started. So there we go. I'll be excited when she comes out again. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. That was my new start for the month. No finishes, unfortunately. All right, that goes down there. Okay, this next one is in my, was part of, so we're done with the 200s now. Now we're moving into the 300s. This one is part of my full coverage Focus to 1%. And this one is Amazonia by the Cross Stitch Studio. Hang on one second. I gotta find it. Artwork is by Romance Art. It is 400 by 490. It has 107 colors. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. So I needed, so my focus with the full coverage Focus 1% is to rotate through them until I get them to 1%. Once they hit 1%, they come out of the running and they get replaced with another piece that needs to get to 1%. So this one was in the list and I got it to 1%. So now it's out of the list. But it can still get pulled for something else. Like when it comes time to replace a temperature piece, if I actually get 4,000 stitches this year on one of my Monopoly pieces, it could replace that. It could, yeah. So it's not out of the running to work on it all the rest of the year just yet. Okay, so this is where I'm at with it. I started the month off at 1,620 stitches completed. I was at 0.83%. I did 340 stitches on it, and I am now sitting at 1,960 stitches completed out of 196,000. I am at 1.00%. I'm doing it 2/1 half cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana. That's where I'm at with that. All right. I'm gonna put this over here because that needs to go like get put up. Okay, this next one is another full coverage focus to get to 1%. Not there yet though. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay, this one is Day to Night North America. It's a retired chart from Pain Free Crafts. Artwork is by Lars Stewart. It is 650 by 464. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. This particular one is available on Heaven and Earth Designs right now if you want to go get it. I want to say it's called Night to Day North America or something like that over there. But I'm doing it 1/1 full cross with the call for DMC on a 32 count easy count Lugana. And that is where I'm at with it right now. I started the month off at 1,600 stitches done. I was at 0.53%. I did 312 stitches on it in the month of February. I am now sitting at 1,912 stitches completed out of 301,600. I am at 0.63%. All right. Next up is one of my low temperature pieces. This is Hiding Place, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It's 869 by 583. It has 134 colors, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it with the call for DMC 2/1 half cross on a 28 count easy count Lugana that's been dyed with raspberry tea by myself unintentionally. Okay, so this is where I'm at with it right now. I'll show you the other side in a minute. But I started the month off at 11,585 stitches done. I was at 2.29%. I put in 300 stitches on it, so I am now sitting at 11,885 stitches completed. Out of 506,627, I am at 2.35% complete. And this is the other side. So this is the upper left-hand corner. And then I counted over to move to the upper right-hand corner because I wanted to work in the diagonal. And when I do diagonals, when I'm doing them half cross, tent stitch, whatever, I like to work from the right to the left because of the direction that I do my diagonals in. Okay. Next up is another temperature piece. This is for the low temperatures, and this one is Holiday Quaker by Lila Studio, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing this with the called for threads. Hang on. Ooh. The one I showed in my floss tube, I need to put this in here while I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm doing it with called for threads. It's Gentle Arts. Hang on. Yeah, that looks pretty similar. Okay, I was making sure the dye lot wasn't too off. But I'm going to show you the flosses real quick. I'm not going to do one by one. I'm just going to kind of show them, whoopsies, all together. Okay, so these are the colors that are called for, all Gentle Art. I'm currently working with this one right here. And I'm doing it 2 strands full cross on a 32 count over 2. So 2 over 2 full cross on a 32 count Lugana in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. And I got 300 stitches on it this month. That's where I'm at with it. So I finished off this motif here, and then I'm working on this one here. I mentioned this in my last floss tube, or in my floss tube, so if you've watched the floss tube, you know, but my hand, I burned myself. That's what those marks are. I got burned with grease, with hot oil. I was making potato pancakes for my kids, and I went to flip one, and the grease splashed up on my hand. So, okay, so there's that. As I just noticed that you could see that in the video, and I didn't want anyone to think it was like something nasty. It's just a burn. That's all. Okay, next up is another temperature piece. This is in the low temperatures, and this is Sugar Cookie House. It's a Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit in the spring series, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing it with the called for thread and beads on the 14 count perforated paper that the kit came with. And this is where I'm at with it now. There we go. I did 300 stitches of cross stitching and beading on it in the month of February. So there we go. All right, so that's it for the 300s. We are moving on to the projects that have had between 400 and 500 stitches now. First step for that is going to be a Monopoly piece. This is Apple Pie Harvest, charted by Charting Creations. Artwork is by Janet Kruskamp. It is $4.75 by $3.56, and it has 90 colors. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And for the month of February, I did 400 stitches on it. I'm doing it 1 over 1 full cross on a, I think this is a 32 count easy count Lugana. I've been working in this area right here. I started the month off at 9,170 stitches completed, and I was at 5.42%. I did 400 stitches on it in the month of February. I am now sitting at 9,570 stitches completed. Out of 169,100, I am at 5.66% complete. So there we go. All right. Next up is a full coverage focus to get to 1% goal that got completed. This is Beach Getaway by Charting Creations. It is a licensed image from Shutterstock. And it is 325 by 490. It has 101 colors, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am in the upper left-hand corner right now. So up there. Okay. I'm doing a 1/1 full cross on that China fabric. And here's where I'm at with it right now. I started the month off at 1,118 stitches completed. I was at 0.70%. I did 475 stitches on this. I am now sitting at 1,573 stitches completed out of 159,250. I am at 1.00% complete. Okay, so this one needs to go back there. Okay, next up is Monopoly piece. This is Spring in the Village by Stony Creek Collection, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using the Call For DMC, and this one also has a Karen Water Lilies as a specialty floss. This one is in the color Guacamole, and that's that one. It's very pretty. Very appropriate name too. It does look like guacamole. And I'm doing a 2/2 full cross on a 28 count even weave in the color Bone. And I just showed this in my floss tube. You'd think I would have it all ready to go with how it's folded, but no. Okay, there we go. So I did 400 stitches on it. I did some of it in the border in the guacamole, and then I moved over here to the building that's right here. I think what I'd like to do with all of these is do the same thing I did for Winter in the Village, where I worked over to the edge and then started working my way back. I did that with Summer in the Village too. And then that way I can just like work my way back over and then backstitch as I go as well. So that got 400 stitches on it. Next up is another Monopoly piece. This is Stitchography from Fat Quarter Shop. It was celebrating World Cross Stitch Day in 2021. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. Just a bunch of words related to cross stitch, and you got some skeins of floss on there, stuff like that, needle and thread. And I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. And I'm using, real quick, I'm using some Etoile that my mom had given me. She had picked it up, and she used it for, I want to say, the same project. And then she gave it to me. And so I'm just picking colors as I see fit. And I did, I want to say it's 400 exactly. Let me just double check. Yeah. I did 400 stitches on it in the month of February. So there we go. Really liking how it's turning out so far. I don't know if you can actually see the sparkle from the Etoile on the camera. You can see it in person just fine, so that's okay. But yeah. All right. Next up is something. Oh, I was like, I couldn't tell what it was. This is another Monopoly piece, and this one is my only Teresa Winslow I have started. I have others waiting in the wings, but this is the one I have started. This one is Unicorn. That one there. It came in a pack of two patterns, but this is the one I'm working on. And I'm doing it with the called for 500,000 blends of DMC on a 28 count, 2/2 on a 28 count even weave in the color Summer Sky. And I did 400 stitches on it in the month of February. I'm working off a paper pattern, so I don't know my percentage. But that is where I'm at with it now. I decided to start working a little bit on the, I was going to do like all the background, but then I was like, no, let me get some of this unicorn head done. So I did. All right. Next up, that was 400 exactly, right? Yeah, okay. Next up is my chatelaine. I will have to insert a picture of what it's gonna look like when it's done. I just showed this in my most recent floss tube, and I just now realized that I forgot to put down the name of, or say the name of the chatelaine. It is Deep Blue Sea. My bad. If you watched it and you're like, what's the name of the chatelaine? It's Deep Blue Sea. I did my own thread conversion. So what I did was I took, I looked up online, excuse me. I looked up online the Gloriana threads that it was called for to see what they look like. And then I dug through my stash of floss, and then as many like of my fancy flosses, whatever I could find, I subbed out, and then whatever I couldn't find, I scoured 123 Stitches website and looked at Karen Waterlilies, Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and even Dinky Dyes to see if I could find something that would look similar. Actually, no, I don't think I looked at Dinky Dyes because it calls for Dinky Dyes, and I didn't want to accidentally have the same floss for both. But yeah, so I did my own thread conversion for the Glorianas. And I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 28 count black Jobelan. And this is where I'm at with it right now. I did a total of 400 stitches on it in the month of February. So what you see is a bunch of cross stitches, and then the green ones here, those are Algerian eyelets. The directions say to do the cross stitches first and then the specialty stitches like the Algerian eyelets. However, I'm kind of using those as like an anchor point to tell where I'm at with some of this stuff. But yeah. So liking how that's turning out so far. All right. Next up is one of my non-full coverage focuses to get, non-full coverage for 4,000 stitches. That's what I'm doing. This one is Christmas Cupcake, and I'm just looking at what the total is. We're out of the 400s. That's what I was looking for. So now we're going into whips that got between 500 and 600 stitches. So this is Christmas Cupcake, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Anders Eisman. It is 300 by 315 and it has 91 colors. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing it with a Call for DMC, 2 strands full cross on a 20 count Aida in the color Palomino. This was a fabric of the month from Mystic Fabrics in December of 2023. That is where I'm at with it right now. I started the month off at $825 stitches completed. I was at 1.22%. I did 562 stitches on it in the month of February. I am now sitting at 1,387 stitches completed out of 677,000. No, it's not that big. Okay. 1,387 stitches completed out of 67,748. I am at 2.05%. 670,000. Jennifer, what are you thinking? Okay. All right. Next up is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is Dreaming of Autumn Leaves by Rosewood Manor. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Is this the bag? Or, hang on. I'm looking for the bag that I have like one skein of each color in that I'm currently working with. I was going to show you the threads real quick. So this calls for Weeks Dye Works. And I didn't really plan this one out correctly. Hang on one second. Here we go. Here's the flosses for Dreaming of Autumn Leaves. There goes a floss for Dreaming of Autumn Leaves. There we go. So these are all the flosses here. And then you have, there we go. So like I said, these are all Weeks Dye Works. I'm doing it 2/2 full cross on a 32 count ivory something. No, not ivory, cream. 32 count cream Lugana. And this is where I'm at with it right now. In the month of February, I did, I want to say 500 exactly. Yeah. In the month of February, I did 500 stitches on this. Really liking how it's turning out so far. So there's that. Next is going to be one of my non-full coverage pieces to get 4,000 stitches. This needs to go over here because I need to work on that this week. Okay, non-full coverage to get 4,000 stitches is Mermaids of the Season Style. This is a collaboration with Bella Filipina and Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I forgot to say this in my floss tube. I'm using the Called For Everything. I didn't even say that. The fabric is a 28 count even weave in the color Singing in the Rain by Fiberlicious. And then I'm using all of the called for DMC, Krynic, beads, all that. So I did, in the month of February, I did 580 stitches on that. So I'm done working in the Summer Mermaid now. She's not done, I know that. I'm done working on her though. Next time this gets pulled out, that's all I've gotten of the spring one so far. I'm so far behind. This Sal was from 2023. But next time this comes out, I'm going to move down and I'm going to do 1,000 stitches because I want 4,000 on this piece. I'm going to do 1,000 stitches on the Winter Mermaid when this gets pulled out again. But yeah, let me show you one more time because she's so pretty. So you got the beads. I've been beading as I go, back stitching as I go. Got a little bit of Krynic in there as well. And the border, the gray is a DMC and then the blue is a Krynic. But yeah. I don't know how much of the Winter Fairy I'm going to actually get to do when I do the next like 1,000 stitches on that, because I'm coming down from the top and she's kind of like centered in the block, and I gotta find a good point where I can like count over without screwing it up too much, you know what I mean? So, okay. Next up is one of my Great British Bake Off technical stitches. This one is Calendar Girls February. And this month, was this a new start? Hang on one second. One sec. Oh, I didn't put a start date on this. I'm gonna have to go back. I actually had 2 new starts this month. This is the other one. I gotta figure out when I started it though. Okay. Because I realized I didn't work on it in January, which means I started it in February, but I didn't put a start date on my tracker. So I had 2 new starts this month. Okay, so this is Calendar Girls February by Little House Needleworks. This was from their 2014 series. Yeah, 2014. So I'm using the Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 32 count Legacy Lugana by Picture This Plus. And this is where I got to with that. I have done 526 stitches on her in the month of February. She should be a finish this month in March. Here's my bag. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look. I do not remember exactly what day I started Calendar Girls February. But I know it was this month though, so I actually had 2 new starts and no finishes in February. All right. She is supposed to get worked on this month, so let me put this over here. Okay, next up is going to be, I said 526 stitches, right? Yeah, okay. All right, next up is going to be another Monopoly piece, and we are getting out of the 500s. Everything else is above 500 stitches. So this is one of my Monopoly pieces. This is what I stitch on whenever a piece passes go. This is my Million Stitch project, Catching Rays by Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. It is 1200 by 900. So total stitch count is 1,080,000 stitches. It has 134 colors. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. I started off doing page by page in a checkerboard, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, so I'm converting it into a diagonal. And this is where I'm at with it right now. This is where I've been working. I did 600 stitches on it this month. I started the month off at 25,674 stitches completed. I was at 2.38%. I did 600 stitches on it, bringing it up to 26,274 stitches completed. Out of 1,080,000 stitches, I am now at 2.43%. So, yeah. This is my biggest piece that I have. I know that there's pieces out there bigger than this, but it's the biggest one I have. So it's like, and it's over 1,000,000 stitches. I mean, anything over 1,000,000 stitches is like a lot. Like, that's craziness. Okay, next up is my other stitching for the Technical Stitching and Great British Bake Off. And this is Grinch Gnome and Company by Maya Stitch on Etsy. And this is what it's going to look like when it is done. In the month of February, hang on, let me find it on here. Okay. I'm doing it with the Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. And here is where I'm at with it now. In the month of February, I did 1,757 stitches. That is including back stitching. I do have this in Pattern Keeper. So my Pattern Keeper stats were, because it doesn't count back stitching. I started the month off at 1,788 stitches done. I was at 32.68%. And then with the cross stitching, I am now sitting at 3,345 stitches completed out of 5,472. I am at 61.13% complete. So when this comes out again, I will keep working on back stitching the Grinch here, and then I will move over to the last gnome over there. Okay. 2 more projects. Next up is my Whip of Shame for the month of February. And this was Magnificent Wizard by Dimensions. It's a Dimensions Gold collection. It was designed by Don Mates. I'm using everything that came in the kit. It's on an 18 count black Aida. My goal was to do 100 stitches a day on it in the month of February. So I wanted to get 2,800 stitches total on it for the month. And I did that. There we go. I did 2,814 stitches on it. I have a working copy of the pattern and I've been highlighting as I go, and I almost have that page completely highlighted. So that's exciting. So yeah, got a little bit of back stitching in there too. So it's probably going to be a bit before you guys see this one again. Because once it gets picked for a whip of shame, it does not get, it's not able to be picked for a whip of shame again for 4 months. And usually by the time I get done working on it as a whip of shame, I'm like so over it that I don't work on it for anything else. So, okay, final piece. I didn't purposely save this for last. It just happens to be the one that has the most stitches on it. Final piece is my main stitching for Great British Bake Off. It is also my favorite whip and my focus piece for the year. This is Honeymoon Sunset. It's charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is $8.69 by $6.49. It has 133 colors, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. My goal for the year is to get it to 50%. I am well on my way to doing so. Okay. I'm going to show this part first. Hopefully that's the part that I took a picture of at the beginning of the month. But this is where I'm at with it right now of this section. I did 5,001 stitches on it in the month of February. I started the month off at 224,135 stitches completed. I was at 39.74%. I did 5,001 stitches on it. I am now sitting at 229,136 stitches out of 563,981. I am at 40.63%. So I went from 39.74 to 40.63 in the month of February. I'm doing it 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana. And I can't see what's happening. But this is the whole thing. So I'm currently working in a diagonal in the upper right hand side, which is what you're seeing here. So yeah, my arms are tired. So my highest color in this piece is still 37.79. With 25,811 stitches remaining in that color. My lowest color is still the same, also 38.39 with 92 stitches left in that color. And that color won't get done until I'm almost done with the piece, because when I looked, it's got like, I would end in the bottom left-hand corner of the piece, and that's where the final stitch is for that color. So I still have no zeros. I still only have one color that's less than 100 stitches to go. That's okay though. But yeah, hang on one second. That's everything I've done so far. Look at that. See, you guys see how close I am? Like, I try to show you on the piece, but you see how close I am to the bottom corner there? That's like super exciting. You want to see this in color? I have it grayscaled because the confetti was like, I couldn't see what I was doing. There it is in color. Everything I have done. Isn't that awesome? So exciting. So, one more time in the gray. Just so you can see how much I have done. That's super exciting. And then we'll show my diagonal one more time. I'll be working on it this week. I'm supposed to get 2,500 stitches done on it, but I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely not going to happen. What I should be saying is I don't know how many stitches I'm going to actually get done on it. Okay, so those are all the whips I worked on in the month of February. I'm not sure how my stitching is going to go this coming month because I am currently working 2 jobs. Working in my original wound care clinic job. I'm also working per diem, so like a little bit here and there in the emergency room that's over by my house. So that needs to go over there because I gotta work on it this week. So like I said, I don't know how much stitching I'm actually gonna get done, but it's okay. Stress-free stitching this year. I have goals. If I don't hit the goals, it's not the end of the world. The only big goal that I have right now, like the only set goal that I'm like, this is the one I want to get I want to get it, is Honeymoon Sunset, that I want to get to 50%. I'm actually ahead of schedule. So as long as I can put some stitching in on it every week, I should be able to stay ahead of schedule. Because my goal for March is to get it to 41%, and I am already at 40.63%. So I'm over halfway to the goal right now to go from 40 to 41. So as long as I can keep that up, I'll be happy. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. If you like what you had to see, and you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I post regular floss tube videos weekly. And yeah, so take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.